Good day everyone, we're Group 3 and we're discussing about organizing for office operation. So first, what is organization? According to Concise Oxford Dictionary, organization is to organize and also to frame and put into working together. And organization is dividing up the work under two major conditions. One, a job is to be done, and two, division of work is to become essentials. And also, organization defines as a group of people who form a business. So now, what is office organization? This is the process by which a framework is positioned is welded together in the office. So it means this is making sure everyone in the office works together effectively to achieve the company's goal. So, office organization requires creation of departments and sections. For example, every company have a human resource department, finance department, and more. Next one is the step of office organization. First one is division of the office into functional departments. Second is selection of suitable workers. Third one is provision of necessary facilities such as equipment and machine to work effectively.
Principle of office organization. That the task of the office manager in planning office organization involving the type of organization most likely to attain optimum result would be easier if he takes into considerations the following basic principle of organization for the proper management of the office. So, ang principle of office organization is di bali galay ang role sa sulod sa office. Di bali na ay leader or ginahatan na office manager nga maoy mag-guide kung asa kadapit na assign. Number 1, principle of unit objective. The entire organization at all levels of the organization structure must be so geared as to produce the optimum coordination of common objectives. So, principle of unit objective is namoy mga goal sa goal sa sulod sa inyong office na kailangan ninyo ma-achieve. As a employer, dapat naamoy action or maayo nga mga plano o mga rule sa isa bitaw ka organization. Principle of efficiency. The organizational structure should be such as to ensure the most efficient performance of the planned task. The test of efficiency is the most effective and is economical attainment of the objectives. So, ang principle of efficiency is about ani sa efficiency is mura bitaw siya ga-evaluate about sa kung sa business pa about na siya sa iyang expenses, sa time, sa effort, sa work, about sa expenses, sa time, sa effort, sa work, ug sa time management. Mabitaw siya ga-inventory bilang cost sa magamit or something. Principle of division of work. This requires specialization in organizational function for the purpose. The total activities of the enterprise should be broken into units and sub-units so that this may be suitable into departmental, sectional, and individual activities. Principle of division of work is about yung sa work. Example na ako trabaho din, gabaligya kong product din as a cashier kadungay din ako ang role is to accept the call of the customer din nasa kauban nga i-deliver sa akong product sa among customer, then sa matagya iya sa mo ang anak sa matagya iya nga nabita milalain nga task sa trabaho na kadepende pa dugod sa among skills. Principle of span of supervision. There is a limit to the number of subordinates that can be effectively supervised by an executive. The fact should be taken into consideration while grouping and allocating activities employees to departments, section, and etc. Principle of span of supervision is span of supervision about which is a company na ay manager, dapat na ay supervisor nga mao bitay mag-report sa manager everyday nga na ay conflict or depende sa situation or na may control sa monitor kada site of mga branches bitaw like sa work na. Principle of scalar chain of authority. The chain of line of authority in the organizational structure must be clearly defined so that every subordinate knows who is the immediate supervisor to whom all problems may be referred to for decision. For example, there is a picture guys from muna siya gikan sa president, secretary, auditor, PIO nga gikan siya sa mga dagko bitaw nga mga rank nga mga employer or manager na. Principle of authority level of decision making. There are different levels of authority for decision making in the organizational structure. It should be seen that the decision making process moves from bottom upwards. When decision cannot be made at lower level of authority only, then it should be pushed upward. So, ang principle of authority level decision making is, for example, office manager kuno si GN. Example, office manager kuno si GN. Diba, napay mas taas pa niya, which is iyahang amo, di bali si Gian if ever na ay magka-problema or decision making nga gamay ra kayo nga kaya ra niya masubad without needing sa tag-iya nga approval nga kaya ra niya i-handle ang situation nga dili na bitaw moagi sa iyang agalon.
So the second one is principle of unit of command and allocating responsibility and delegating authority, which should be seen that each subordinate has only one superior from whom he received his order. So just like example, when marketing team member received conflicting instruction from both marketing managers and sales manager regarding campaign deadlines. So unsay nahitabo? So, it leads confusion and missed deadline. So, dapat jud nga only manager can lead sa iyang employee para dili maka-cause of confusion and also ma-manage niya ang iyang time properly. So, the second one is principle of functional definition. The duties and responsibility to every position and its organizational relationship with other position should be clearly defined that there may not be any conflict. So every job role in an organization should have clearly defined responsibilities, duties, and rules. Also, dapat natay good relationship sa atong coworker para ma-avoid natong overlap and conflict between different positions. So the next one is principle of equality of authority and responsibility. While allocating responsibility and delegating authority, it should be seen that there is equality between authority and responsibility. So just like example sa company, na manager mo responsive to supervise sa iyang team of employee. So siya ang maghatag og authority to make decisions sa iyang mga employee related to their work. So in the business, it's better jud to handle your employees equal and transparency and lead them effectively para mas mag-grow pa ang inyong business. So that was the important to handling your employee. So the second one is principle of flexibility. The organizational structure should be such that it can be easily and economically adapted to changes in the nature of business, as well as technical innovation. So, just like example, in the company, there is a lot of work to do with the use of technology in the workplace. Organization have been able to increase their productivity and efficiently at a rapid pace. So it means that ang technology is very important juga siya sa workplace para mapadali ang mga trabahoon and also dili ra kayo mahago ang employees. So the next one is principle of leadership facilitation. The organizational structure should be conducted to the growth of leadership positions of management. So it providing director without taking control. So just like example, when manager engage in collaborative leadership, dapat involved yung kagrupo sa decision making and group discussion aron na sila makuha nga ideas and also magkasinabot sila and maka-create sila og one plan. So the second one is principle of continuity. The organizational structure should be capable of ensuring the continuity of existence of the organizations to appraisal of objective readjustment of plans and provisions of opportunity or development managing of future. So it means that all the activities of the business is nakaplano siya daan, nakaandam aron in case na event of emergency, crisis, or disaster, na-ensure gyapon nga ang function sa usa ka business is continue gyapon siya.
This report's all about organization structure. An organization structure is a system that outlines how certain activities are directed to achieve the goal of an organization. For example, from worker to salesperson to foreman to sales officer to manager to CEO. These activities can include rules and responsibilities. The organization structure is also determine how information flows between lead.
So let's proceed to centralization and decentralization. For centralization, authority is concentrated at the top level of management. Decisions are made by the central authority and flow down to the hierarchy. Example, budget allocation from the head office. On the other hand, the decentralization, authority is distributed to the lower level teams. Decisions are made closer to the point of implementation. For example, department managing their own schedules. The concept of centralization and decentralization within the context of office operation. So like centralization is when the decisions are made by the top management like the CEO or the boss. It is properly organized because everything is controlled from the top, like for example, in a budget allocation. On the other hand, decentralization is more chill because teams or departments can make their own decisions like scheduling or handling clients. It is giving them freedom to decide what's best for their situation. The purpose of this is to ensure the audience understand the foundational concept and the relevance to office organization. So, as you can see, on the centralization, decisions are made by the top level management like the CEO, directors, office, and the boss. On the decentralization, decision making is delegated to mid-level managers like the supervisors or the team leaders. They can make their own decisions. Let's proceed to advantages and challenges. For centralization, advantage, uniformity and control in policies, simplified coordination across departments, better for tasks like budgeting or compliance. For the challenges, slow local decision making, limited team flexibility. For the decentralization, advantages, faster response to operational issues, teams empowered to make decisions, innovation encouraged in daily tasks. For the challenges, inconsistent process across department, potential of mismanagement without oversight. These slides compares the benefit and the limitation of both centralization and decentralization. So like centralization is good for consistency and control, like when you need to make sure that all the departments follow the same rule, like compliance or budgeting. But the downside, it has slower decision making and the team might feel limited. On the other hand, the decentralization is super flexible. The team can make decisions faster and it's so innovative. But it's kind of risky because it can lead to inconsistency or mismanagement if there's no oversight. The purpose of this is to provide details for evaluation of how each system affects office operation, preparing the audience to think about their application. Let's proceed to the best practice for an organized office. For centralized, the key functions like financial approvals, legal compliance, and IT management. For decentralized, operational tasks like scheduling clients' interaction and team-level decision. These slides offer a practical advance on combining centralization and decentralization to create an efficient and well-organized office. So you need to balance centralization and decentralization. Centralize the critical process like financial management or IT security, because consistency is needed there. However, decentralize the operational tasks like team schedules or handling customers. In short, you combine the best of both worlds, control and flexibility. The purpose of this is to leave the audience with actionable insight and strategies for optimizing their office operation by using hybrid approach. So that was the meaning of centralization and decentralization. I hope you learned something. Thank you.